September 2009, I was wounded during a convoy patrol south of Baghdad. It wasn't 15 minutes after we left, we encountered a very large roadside explosion that resulted in severe injuries to the civilian population. We were making recoveries, setting up security when a secondary explosion went off. And the result of that was me getting a lower leg injury, traumatic brain injury, and cracking my skull behind my left ear, which had me medevac to Landstuhl, Germany, where I spent 31 days in care.
You get to see what you're really made out of when you go to war. My last deployment was in 2012, and I step on an IED, blows both my legs off, come out of the coma 8 days later, only to find out that the very thing that I feared was actually what was happening. Listen, let me tell you, this right here is a symbol. It's a reminder that I did not have to quit when things got tough.
I think everyone has a low point, in their life. I had to get over the fact that, I'm not, 100% whole, right? I'm an amputee. But you know what? I can't let that stop me. During the rehab, there was an organization, and they would grab up soldiers and take them out to a small driving range off the base. I always thought golf was like it was a sport for old retirees, and that was not me. I was an infantryman. However, it was an opportunity to actually get out of the hospital. It was a little emotional, and I was not a golfer. That's when I said, there's something about this game.
One of the things that's very difficult, I think, for people who leave the military is that you've been part of this organization that has just, been every bit of what you live, breathe, and then when it stops, while it is restful, it also can be very stressful.
The biggest obstacle is camaraderie and being part of that team. You are part of 1,000 or 100, and all of a sudden, now you're on your own.
We've seen some folks that have to deal with post-traumatic stress syndrome. We see folks dealing with suicide.
There are a lot of people out there who believe that the challenges that they're going through are unique to them. More often than not, it's something that everybody goes through. You just don't realize it.
What the VGA does in golf is it offers an opportunity for you to be around people that have shared the same experiences that you have.
You get to be out there with your brothers and sisters in arms and really create a family atmosphere for you to enjoy yourself.
We're not real good about sharing our feelings, but when we're around these guys, we'll dig them out of you.
The feeling we all get of being with each other is bigger than ourselves, and I think that's why these organizations are so critical.
To go from 300 people in 2015 to over 20,000 now, it's helping get that sense of teamwork, that sense of camaraderie back. That's why they love being together and why they love competing against each other.
To see all of these veterans coming together because of an idea that Joe and I started is pretty humbling.
Built on the mission of enriching the lives of veterans and their family members, the Veteran Golfers Association is more than golf. Harnessing the ideas of camaraderie and competition, the VGA was founded in 2014 by wounded veterans at Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C., anchoring their personal recoveries from combat to the beautiful game of golf. Now hosting more than 1,500 golf tournaments for military veterans annually. None are more unique than this weekend in Augusta, Georgia. And now, Fox Sports proudly presents the 2024 Armed Forces Cup from Champions Retreat. 50 veterans eagerly await the start of the tournament. But before the first tee shot in the morning, the back-to-back champions, Team Army, are honored at the annual Armed Forces Cup ring ceremony.
Guys, I can't believe it's been a year. Tim Stanton made that incredible shot right over there, and we won.
We will have a sudden death playoff on hole 18.
I select Tim Stanton to represent Team Army.
The determining shot in the whole thing was when Chris Gatcombe from the Coast Guard laid up short.
Yeah.
And when he laid up short and Tim was already here, that was ridiculous, right?
Yes.
And then Tim dropped that putt and I just lost it.
Special moment.
2 years in a row, that's
Special
crazy.
moment.
Let's get a toast in, man.
1, 2, 3.
Army!
Let's go get those rings.
Yeah! Welcome last year's champions, Team Army.
This year's Team Army has set their sights on a three-peat. However, Team Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard are focused on taking the top spot on one of the best golf courses this country has to offer.
Interview, Mark.
My name is Mike Reimer. I'm the Director of Golf here at Champions Retreat Golf Club. The property opened in 2005, and we're partners with Augusta National. We host the Augusta National Women's Amateur in the spring. We're the only golf club in the world that has Nicholas Palmer player designs on the same property. The Bluff 9 is the Nicholas 9. I would say the most challenging 9 on the property. And there's a lot of elevated greens, a lot of false fronts. You have to be really precise with your irons. It's a spectacular 9 holes. The Isle 9, that's the Palmer 9. That 9 goes out and is on the Savannah River. 6.5 of the holes are actually an island, so it's really interesting 9 holes. The Creek course, that's the Gary Player 9. I would say he holds the acclaim for having the hardest hole on the property, which is number 1 on Creek. But he also has probably, I think, one of the more beautiful holes on the property, which is number 9 Creek. It's a fantastic finishing hole. Having an event like this, like the VGA, the Armed Forces Cup here, again, puts us on the world stage, and I feel very fortunate and blessed to be here. We're excited for everything that's coming around the bend in the future.
When we return, the 2024 Armed Forces Cup officially tees off with a message from VGA President and CEO Josh Payton. Plus, back-to-back champions Team Army look to continue their dominance in round 1. Welcome back to the 2024 Armed Forces Cup from Champions Retreat.
My name is Josh Payton. I'm the president and CEO of the Veteran Golfers Association. Joe Cayley and I founded this organization 10 years ago with the goal to enrich the lives of veterans and their family members through the sportsmanship and camaraderie of golf. And we do that by hosting more than 1,500 golf tournaments a year for veterans and their families. The Armed Forces Cup is unique because this is the one golf tournament where players from all branches get to compete against each other in a Ryder Cup style match. We've got veterans that served in Vietnam all the way through post 9/11 that are coming together as a team to represent their branch, to represent the Veteran Golfers Association in a competitive field that really gets intensified as the matches go along. So if you're a veteran and you really want to play the game of golf and you want to join the VGA family, look us up at vgagolf.org. We would love for you to join our VGA family.
At Champions Retreat in Augusta, Georgia, moments before the first tee shot, a powerful demonstration of brotherhood and camaraderie was on full display.
AFC, attention.
The 2024 Armed Forces Cup is officially started.
With opening ceremonies complete, these veterans set off for the 36-hole Ryder Cup-style match play golf tournament, where the branch with the most points after 2 days wins the Armed Forces Cup. And the favorites had to be the two-time defending champions, Team Army. Founded in June of 1775, the Army is the United States' oldest branch and its largest, with over 450,000 active personnel. Historically regarded as the world's premier land fighting force, they know a thing or two about winning. Last year, Team Army made history by winning back-to-back Armed Forces Cup championships. After an impressive 6.5 points in round 1, Team Army only scored 4 total points in the final round. but held on to force a 3-team playoff with Team Air Force and Coast Guard. In the final moments of the playoff, retired Sergeant Major Tim Stanton stepped up for a 6-inch putt for par to win the tournament.
I'm proud to present the 2023 Armed Forces Cup to United States Army.
In their quest for a three-peat, Team Army is led by Team Captain Tim Oakley, Honorary Captain and retired Commanding General Michael Garrett, and Gerald Burton returns as Captain's Choice. They will rely heavily on Bryce Krause, Danny Foster, Keith Boyer, and Tony Miller. Plus, key contributions will be required from Donald Prill, Sean Newman, Tim Wuchter, and Nick Svoboda.
Army, stand up!
My name is Tim Oakley. I served in the Army from 1986 to 2007.
I'm Sean Newman. I served in the United States Army active for 15 years. My junior year of high school, I was like, I'm gonna go serve my country, and that was back in '99.
It really changed my life, and it gave me a different outlook on life to go out there and do great, wonderful things for our country.
When people go to combat, you're going with your brothers and sisters in arms, and you never know who's gonna come back and who doesn't. That, to me, makes it kind of hard to deal with.
People say, oh, you got a Purple Heart. I said, no, Purple Heart's not earned. Purple Heart, being at the wrong place at the wrong time. I was in the defect bombing in Missoula, and there was a young captain that I worked with in the Brigade S3, Captain William Jacobson. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I think about him often, because young kids like I did it, that could have been me. And I'm still so grateful. There's people like him that served, they give the ultimate sacrifice to their country.
I will never forget those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Very proud, very honored to be here with everybody in the VGA that has put forth the time, the effort. Once I got into it, I realized that I can have 4 to 5 hours of just nothing on my mind except for what am I gonna do the next shot? And that really helped deal as a coping mechanism for that period of time.
I met a gentleman that was telling me about the Veterans Golf Association and what it entailed, and it's meant so much to me, and golf's meant so much to me. It's definitely changed my life for the better in a lot of aspects.
When a veteran finds the same joy in something that never would have thought, oh, well, golf is a very frustrating sport, and it is, but for them to find it, it's just phenomenal.
This would be a three-peat for Team Army.
Army came first in 1775, and we're gonna keep it that way. Go Army.
Well, Team Army did just that after round 1, scoring a team total of 6 points. Tim Oakley fell behind early to Team Navy's Lowell Crow, giving up the second and third holes. But Oakley battled back to tie things up on the back 9. Chief Warrant Officer Oakley hit a line drive on the 11th to set up a par putt to win the hole. He then took complete control after his fairway-seeking drive on the 12th, winning the hole and thus the match by 3 strokes.
Winning the match today was wonderful. On our way to retaining the cup as our motto here. So look forward to going out tomorrow and at least getting 6 to 10 more.
Sergeant Sean Newman fell behind early on the first 4 holes against Team Marines' Troy Felder and was unable to win his round 1 match. Team Army were tied for the lead and were in prime position for their coveted three-peat. But with a final round of golf to be played, every service branch still had a shot, including the inaugural Armed Forces Cup champions, the Marines. Founded in November of 1775, the Marines are the smallest branch in the Department of Defense. Over the years, they've won many of America's greatest battles, such as Iwo Jima, and Guadalcanal, earning a reputation as America's most disciplined fighting force. At the 2023 Armed Forces Cup, Team Marines failed to complete their goal of winning 2 titles in 3 years. Despite a strong showing on round 1, Team Marines only secured 3.5 points on the final round to finish in last place. Team Marines look to win another Armed Forces Cup led by Team Captain Jeff Duncan, Captain's Choice Doug Gearwolf, plus honorary captain and retired Major General Austin Renforth. They will need key contributions from Michael Hendren, Chris Thielman, Robert Ray, and Matt McCurry. Plus, look to pick up wins from Ben Matthews, Mike Binney, Michael Sullivan, and Troy Felder.
Marine Corps, sound off!
Mike Binney, United States Marine Corps, 20 years active duty.
My name is Troy Felder. I was a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps for just over 8 years.
Since a very young age, I wanted to be a pilot, and the Marine Corps gave me a chance to fly. Got to fly overseas, the Persian Gulf, Somalia, some of the best times of my life that I can remember.
Over my time in the Marines, the biggest thing I learned was how to operate efficiently in uncomfortable situations. Just being a part of the brotherhood and not letting down the guys to your left and your right. I got introduced to the game of golf pretty early. It started with my dad. I never really took it serious back then. I was just a small guy on the course trying to hit it far.
My father started taking me to a little dinky 9-hole course outside of Boston when I was 5 years old. So I've been playing the game of golf for over 50 years, and it was a natural transition when I retired. I wanted to do something in the golf industry. So I went to golf school on the GI Bill and came back and started working at a golf course. And here I am 10 years later, a Division I head coach. When I started coaching, I asked all my players if they would be willing to carry the names of fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines on their bags. And the idea behind that is to remind them that our freedoms are not free and that there's more to life than just playing golf. And my guys really have taken to it, so pretty proud of that.
The thing about the VGA that stuck for me was that from the time I showed up to that first event, it was like being in with my brothers again.
This is a phenomenal organization because they're bringing guys together.
I've seen a lot of friendships bloom, like from people that were just, battling different depression or whatever and came out there, didn't really think they had anybody and just hit it off with people immediately, just best of friends, going on golf trips now together and everything. Seen a lot of positive come from it.
We're gonna have fun out here, win or lose, we're gonna have a good time, but we definitely want to beat Army this year and break up the three-peat.
Despite winning their first 3 matches, Team Marines found themselves in last place with just 3.5 points at the end of round 1. Mike Binney jumped out to an early lead against Team Air Force's Justin Gamet after hitting a well-timed drive off the first tee box, setting up an easy par putt. Major Binney never looked back, going up 4 strokes after an impressive approach shot on the 9th hole.
I got up early on Justin, and he clawed his way back on the back 9, and we were just 1 up going into the last 3 holes and managed to win one of those last 3 to close it out 2-1. I was pretty happy with the way I played today.
Team Marines' Troy Felder defeated Team Army Sean Newman thanks to his impressive distance off the tee box throughout round 1.
It was pretty good, especially the first half. I was getting out there about actually 310, 315. The wedge saved me. So even when I did miss the green, if I had a wedge in my hand, I was sticking it within 10, 15 feet.
Entering the final round of competition, Team Marines will need to put together an almost perfect day of golf. Just around the corner, we will hear from 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer on how the VGA has impacted him and his family as they continue to support United States military veterans. Plus, a look at Army's biggest rival, the Navy, as the 2024 Armed Forces Cup continues on FS1. Fox Sports is proud to present the 2024 Armed Forces Cup from Champions Retreat.
I'm Urban Meyer, and I'm a big supporter of our men and women who serve this country. And I grew up in a military family. My father was Army, my sister was Air Force. If you win a lot of games as a coach or catch touchdown passes, society now makes you a hero. The hero to me is someone who's completely service-based. They give up themselves for something greater. So to me, when you say a veteran, I say they're a hero. A lot of men and women who serve in our country, they experience things that most human beings do not experience. And then they come back here and at times they feel lost. Veterans Golf Association is an organization that was created several years ago, and the purpose is that it's a community. Create this family around the great game of golf. And I think we all have an obligation to show the country what a veteran's all about. There's no greater way than the VGA. At the end of the day, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And the way I was raised, don't lose.
With no better place to win their first Armed Forces Cup, Team Navy descends on Champions Retreat, a golf course built by champions for champions. Founded in October of 1775, the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment fuse together to protect economic prosperity on the world's interconnected oceans. With over 300,000 active personnel sailing on 280-plus ships, these sailors know a thing or two about winning. Last year, Team Navy came up short of the historic 3-team playoff with 10 total points, scoring an impressive 6 points on round 2 of the competition. This year, Team Navy is led by Captain Jeff Manalansan, Captain's Choice Ty Ehlers, and Honorary Captain and Retired Vice Admiral Ron Boxall. They will need to pick up wins from Jesse Schmidt, Edward Shipley, Ronald Russell, and Douglas Feist, plus rely heavily on Eric Lindebeck, Lowell Crow, Tim Melikoski, and James Sadler.
Navy, sound off!
Melikoski, take 1, marker.
Lieutenant Commander Tim Melikoski, United States Navy, 22 years. When I was young, I had this burning desire to be a pilot. After I got my wings, and I was sent to Vietnam. In October '67, a Navy pilot was shot down near the Haiphong Harbor. They couldn't deploy their weapons against us because we were between the ships. But once we got clear of the harbor, that's when they opened fire. And we were able to make it back out to sea, ditched just about 100 yards off the coast, and were rescued. That's why we're hearing aids today, is that my ears were damaged and various lacerations on my hands and feet and arms and shrapnel wounds. But other than that, it was a typical landing in the water.
My name is Lowell Crow, Captain, United States Navy. Served for 34 years and 7 days. I love the Navy. It has done so much for me. That was my dream job, was to be a naval officer. I served in both Desert Storm, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's a different feeling from being the commanding officer where you're sending these guys into combat and you have to realize that they may not come back. You have to hold yourself accountable because you're accountable to not only the country, you're accountable to the families, you're accountable to the people that you lead. I was the commanding officer for the Advanced Force Staging Base, and I served with Lieutenant Mike Murphy on a Waller winter. 2 years later, he was called to active duty. So I always think about that. Think about the guys I served with, guys that I lost along the way. It teaches you about people are what make it special. They're doing it for the pride in their country and the people around them, and understanding mission first, people always.
First time I heard about the VGA was back in 2018. I just love the game. It's something you can play all your life.
The game was a place where I could walk out on the course and find peace, that camaraderie. That's something you won't find outside of the military.
The Armed Forces Cup is something that everybody wants to play in. It's not something that it's given to you. You have to earn it, and I'm quite proud to be here.
The Navy has not won the Armed Forces Cup. We have really focused on winning this year's Cup. Go Navy, beat Army!
Go Navy, beat Army!
Team Navy found themselves well positioned to spoil their rival, Team Army, after scoring 5.5 points in round 1. Tim Melikoski found himself in a highly competitive match against Team Marines Michael Sullivan. Lieutenant Commander Melikoski was up 1 entering the 8th hole after an impressive approach shot from the rough. Melikoski then hit a par putt from 15 feet as he went up 2 shots on the front 9.
It was a battle to the last hole. Beat Mike Sullivan, the Marine. We got 1 point for the Navy.
Team Navy's Lowell Crow started off strong against Team Army's Tim Oakley, going up 2 after the first 4 holes.
It's been a 2-year mission for me. We're looking a lot stronger. We're very focused as a team.
But Captain Crow struggled off the tee throughout the back nine in a round 1 loss. With the final round of competition ahead, Team Navy is in strong position to make a meaningful charge as they attempt to win their first ever Armed Forces Cup. Just around the corner, we hear from Army veteran and motivational speaker Cedric King about his unique perspective on honor and sacrifice, plus a look at how a loaded Team Air Force fared after round 1, next and only on FS1. This is a special presentation of the 2024 Armed Forces Cup from Champions Retreat.
My name is Cedric King, Master Sergeant, United States Army, and served for 20 years and 1 month. My last deployment was in 2012, and I stepped on an IED, blows both my legs off. Listen, let me tell you, this right here is a symbol of, it's a reminder that I did not have to quit when things got tough. I'm learning how to love this just as much or more than what I had before. In the military, we thrive on teamwork. And when we get out of the military, we are separated from our teams. When you're in a room full of veterans, even though we may not have served together, now you're my brother. And when we're together for 4 or 5 hours, golfing, laughing, it may keep a vet alive another day. That's why you have to have organizations like these. It's not about necessarily the golf. You get to be yourself finally. That's something a lot of vets haven't done in a long time.
Cedric King shares a unique bond with veterans competing at the Armed Forces Cup. The belief that anything is possible provides a purpose which fuels the day-to-day aspect of their lives. Founded in September of 1947, the mission of the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win. Equipped with over 320,000 active personnel and over 5,000 aircraft, these airmen play a critical role in securing and protecting the freedom of the United States. Last year at the Armed Forces Cup, Team Air Force scored a tournament-high 7 points in the final round, forcing an historic 3-team playoff. With redemption at the forefront, Team Air Force boasts one of the deepest and most talented teams in the tournament. This year, Team Air Force is led by Captain Robert Pearsall, Captain's Choice Howard Thurman, and Honorary Captain and Retired General Lance Smith. They will rely heavily on Justin Gammett, Philip Ritchie, W.D. Matheny, and Jim Jakubowski. Plus, Team Air Force is expecting wins from Scott Wiederholt, Daniel Bloomer, Terrence Jacobs, and Adam Donahue.
United States Air Force, sound off!
Scott Wiederholt, United States Air Force, 47 years old, 25 years of service. I deployed 7 times throughout my career. I just get pure joy out of executing not only the mission, but seeing our young service men and women out there making our nation proud. I still get goosebumps when a national anthem is played. It still tugs at the heartstrings. And you know, those types of things are a part of the fabric of who I think I am, and really is the foundation of my service.
Technical Sergeant Adam Donahue, retired, 21 years. I decided to join the Air Force because I wanted to travel and see the world. And here we are, yeah. 70 countries and 21 years later. I was in training to be a loadmaster, and during that time, the early 2000s, it was right after both wars kicked off, Afghanistan and Iraq. So you had to grow up really quick. We all know the feeling of tense, the adrenaline's running. You know, you're a little scared always. We just want to do our job and get through, and God willing, we'll make it out of this alive. We all share that bond, and we'll live with it for the rest of our life.
It's my place to go to just be in complete serenity. It's just the challenge of it, that pure contact when you hit that great swing and the ball goes where you want it to go. It's just, yeah, it's a special place.
It brings people together, and you meet a lot of people on the golf course. You build a lot of friendships. So all those military connections just keep getting stronger on the golf course. I heard about the VGA about 10 years ago, and you're part of a family here, and you get to do cool stuff like this.
I've made lifelong friends. It's really great to hear their stories and how we come together to hit this little ball around a course. It's truly phenomenal, and the Armed Forces Cup is just amazing.
That bond remains strong for Team Air Force, as their 6 points in round one had them tied for first place with back-to-back champions Team Army. Adam Donahue led the charge for Team Air Force thanks to his impressive drive off the 8th tee box.
Heading to hole 11, up 3 right now. Got to stay aggressive, stay focused.
He then went on to win the next 5 holes, winning his match against Team Navy's Eric Lindebach by 5 strokes. Colonel Scott Wiederhold found himself down 5 strokes through the front 9, but battled back entering the 14th. After an impressive drive in the middle of the fairway, Wiederhold set himself up for a par putt to win the hole and pull within 1. But Team Coast Guard's Matthew Bailey proved to be too much, winning the match by 2 strokes.
I think we're in a good spot right now, so we're going to be in the hunt tomorrow.
Team Air Force got much-needed wins from Jin Jakubowski, Daniel Bloomer, Philip Ritchie. W.D. Matheny and Howard Thurman put themselves in prime position entering the final round. When we return, PGA Tour veteran Charlie Reimer expresses his gratitude and support for the VGA and how the game of golf has impacted America's greatest heroes. Plus, Team Coast Guard looks to improve on last year's success as the 2024 Armed Forces Cup continues on FS1. This past year, the Veteran Golfers Association hosted their annual national championship tournament at Fallen Oak in Biloxi, Mississippi. Over 90 of the best players in the nation competed for the coveted VGA red jacket, the symbol that stands to remember everyone deployed. Retired Army Sergeant Travis Bryant and retired Marine Major Lauren Neal each won their respective division by 3 strokes to win the tournament. The countdown is on to the upcoming national championship at the Grand Dover Resort in Greensboro, North Carolina on September 15th.
My name is Charlie Reimer. In a previous life, I played professional golf. Somehow I managed to get on the PGA Tour for a while, and my game left me at a very young age, and I was given the opportunity to get into broadcasting. And one of the cool things about getting into broadcasting, especially in the world of golf, which is a pretty tight-knit community, you get to meet some incredible people. And I was very fortunate that I got to meet Josh Payton and Joe Cayley, and they had this crazy idea, the Veteran Golfers Association. And I just really picked up very quickly how genuine and authentic they were and what they were trying to do for our military community. Golf brings people together. You can compete, you can be social, you can travel, you can go see other places. It's a way to create relationships, create connections, and at the end of the day, I think that's what the vets respond to and watch. It's such a great sport for them. There was a group of guys in Orlando. They had a buddy in an apartment out in Dallas, and they flew out there and they rescued this vet, got him back, got him stabilized, got him engaged in golf, ended up getting some training, a job, his whole life back together because of what golf does for the veteran community. And it really humbles me when I see things like that happen. These people have given so much for us, and me being here and being around them, it's just such an incredible honor. It's one of the coolest things I've ever been able to do in my life.
The Armed Forces Cup was created to reward those VGA members with the most participation throughout the VGA Tour season, culminating in a Ryder Cup-style match play championship between the service branches. And for the Coast Guard, the desire to hoist this year's Armed Forces Cup is as deep as the waters they are sworn to protect. Founded in 1790, the Coast Guard is responsible for patrolling 95,000 miles of U.S. coast, searching ships and performing rescue missions. The Coast Guard is the smallest branch of the military and a member of the United States Department of Homeland Security. Last year at the Armed Forces Cup, Team Coast Guard finished tied for second place with a total team score of 10.5 points. Despite coming up short in the first ever 3-team playoff, Team Coast Guard retooled. This year, Team Coast Guard is led again by Captain Bryce Hadeen, who is joined by Captain's Choice Matthew Bailey and Honorary Captain and retired Rear Admiral Bob Day. They will rely heavily on Steve Bates, Tyler Bowden, Stu Stryker, and James Belair. Plus, key contributions will be required from Mark Tolles, Michael Bradshaw, Michael Sparks, and Bill Rhodes.
United States Coast Guard, sound off!
Bradshaw interview, take 1, marker.
My name is Michael Bradshaw, 21 years of service in the United States Coast Guard, bosun's mate first class. Going into the service, there was a purpose more than just staying home and working a simple job. I wanted to serve my country.
My name is Matt Bailey, United States Coast Guard, Petty Officer First Class. I did 20 years of service. I am super proud to be a veteran of the United States of America, especially the Coast Guard. Still being a part of that family, it's unbelievable to me and a privilege. I think the most proud of during my time of service is being able to make that sacrifice. We put ourselves into dangerous situations, life or death, quick decision you have to make a rescue.
I had just gotten in the Coast Guard and then 9/11 hit. To be there at ground zero and to see everything that happened, it knocked the heart right out of you. When you're sitting there knowing that you're at ground zero of something that's happened, there's a little bit of fear that's in you. There's adrenaline pumping through you nonstop because we were on the boats doing 12 to 16-hour patrols, and you don't know what's gonna happen. And that not knowing factor in the back of your mind, it's kind of scary.
What's unique about the Armed Forces Cup, competing against the other branches of service, the camaraderie, the friends you make, the banter between each other, it's an unbelievable experience.
Coast Guard's gonna win the tournament this year, and it's because we're tired of being the little step brother. Watch out, boys, here we come.
Go Coast Guard!
Team Coast Guard got off to a strong start thanks to Matthew Bailey picking up a key win against Team Air Force's Scott Wiederholt. Petty Officer First Class Bailey never trailed thanks to his powerful drives off the tee box.
I went up 5 on him pretty quick, and then I think I got a little bit too comfortable. He started playing some golf on the back 9. I hit some really good shots into the green and put a little pressure on him. I ended up closing it out on the 18th hole, finishing the 2 up.
Michael Bradshaw was in a back-and-forth affair with Team Air Force's Jim Jakubowski and was tied entering the final 3 holes of round 1.
Did a lot of things well until about the 16th or 17th hole. I think I just started getting tired at that point. Wish I had back the putt on the hole before this one. I thought it was going in and it just fell right under it.
Bradshaw ended up losing his match by 2 strokes. Team Coast Guard finished the round with 4 points and in 4th place, heading into the final round of competition. Coming up next, a champion is crowned from Champions Retreat during the thrilling final round of the tournament. Find out which branch takes home the title. Next, and only on FS1. Entering the final round of the competition, Team Army sat atop the leaderboard, but with only 2.5 points separating the 5 teams, every captain knew the Armed Forces Cup was up for grabs.
You know, we were tied coming into it, and we know Army brings it strong, so we had a team meeting, and we're just going to play aggressive and get after it.
To start the day, Air Force's Scott Wiederholt jumped out to a commanding lead against Army's Tony Miller.
It's warm out. Green's a little bit faster than yesterday, but got some good playing competitors, so it's going to be a good round.
Adam Donahue did the same against Troy Felder of the Marines.
I think I'm up by a couple, but plenty of holes left, so gotta stay focused.
Right now I'm down, but I'm about to make a comeback here pretty soon.
Despite Troy's optimism, Donahue held on for a win. And so did Wiederholt. Add in Howard Thurman's win over Navy's Tim Milikoski, and Air Force was up to 9 total points.
Why are you guys following Army people?
Well, Howard, we filmed them because they can't stop winning. And after victories by Captain Tim Oakley, plus 2 others, Team Army was again tied with Team Air Force at 9 points apiece. For Team Coast Guard, Matthew Bailey relied on his short game while playing to tie against Navy's James Sadler.
Good up.
And Mike Bradshaw drove his way to a victory over Jeff Duncan of the Marines. Otherwise, Coast Guard never found their rhythm on the greens and failed to turn their fortunes around, closing the round with 3.5 points, good for a 4th place finish. Team Navy had their share of hardships too. But thanks to James Sadler's tie and a pair of wins, they were just a point back of the leaders.
If there's a trophy at the end of it, cool. If not, we've all had a great time.
That's fair, but winning would be a lot of fun too. And with most of their players locked in tight battles, in particular Lowell Crow.
Go in the final hole even.
Navy's championship hopes were still alive, meaning down the stretch, every point would be crucial. For Team Marines, the belief was that a round 2 surge could overcome their round 1 struggles.
No big golf.
Yeah, that's right.
But with Troy Felder having already lost and Mike Binney starting slowly, Team Marines never found their mojo at the Armed Forces Cup.
Come on. Oh.
Ending the round with just 2 points and finishing in last place. As Mike Binney fell to Army's Bryce Krause, Team Army now had 10 points, just ahead of Navy and Air Force. Building on their hot start,
Bam! Nice
Air Force responded with 2 quick wins, including one by W.D. Matheny over Navy's Jeff Manalanson to take sole possession of first place with 11 points.
Now I get to have fun on the next hole.
Over on the Bluff 9, Team Army's Tim Wookter putted his way to a 1-up lead, then sunk a clutch shot on 18 to create another tie atop the leaderboard.
This is my first real VGA win. I was nervous over the putt, just a quick 3-footer to tie and tie the hole and call it a day. So it feels good.
But to win a 3rd consecutive Armed Forces Cup, Team Army would need more points.
Yeah, so we're tied going into 18 here. So it's been a good match.
And we'll probably have the crowd all waiting for us.
Ditto for Team Navy and Lowell Crow, who found himself in a must-win matchup against Army's Nick Svoboda.
Oh, I'm in the lake.
But after sending his 3rd shot into the water, Crow conceded the round, effectively eliminating Team Navy and putting Team Army back in first with 12 points. Now, all eyes turn to Team Air Force, the only squad capable of ending Team Army's bid for a three-peat. Not one to shy away from adversity, Daniel Bloomer answered the call and evened the score at 12.
How's the Air Force doing? Air Force is looking good. How'd that one finish? Just won it.
Then, after 2 ties and a Justin Gamet win, Air Force went from good to great. 14 points and a commanding lead.
It feels just as good to win as it does to keep Army from winning. Go Air Force.
With his team down but not out, Donald Prill led the response,
Bam!
grabbing a crucial 13th point.
Nice putt.
And setting up a dramatic finish between Air Force's Terrence Jacobs and Army's Gerald Burton. For Jacobs, a tie or a win would clinch Air Force's first ever Armed Forces Cup. A Burton win would send us to a playoff.
So we're having some fun and making memories, all square with one to go. Air Force or Army, who will it be?
There, each golfer hit their tee shot in the fairway. But while Jacobs' second shot landed near the green, Burton's went into the water. Unfazed by his opponent's error, Jacobs hit a nice chip shot onto the green, where Burton soon joined him. Then, Jacobs kept his composure and sunk a 2-putt on 18 to win the 2024 Armed Forces Cup for Team Air Force.
The Army has beaten us down for the last couple of years, and they've been talking trash, and it was finally to get one back up on them.
With Jacobs' putt, Air Force became the first team in Armed Forces Cup history to not lose a single matchup in the final round of competition, as they finished with 9 points and 15 total for the tournament.
It is my distinct honor to present the 2024 Armed Forces Cup to Team United States Air Force.
Kudos to this team right here.
Yeah. We went and got 9 points, broke a record. Nobody lost. We all worked to get here.
put in a lot of golf, get to that qualifier, and you had to work your butt off, then come here and meet these great guys. It's been awesome.
As these veterans conclude their week from Champions Retreat in Augusta, Georgia, their memories, camaraderie, and bonds forged through competition will last a lifetime. All thanks to the special experience of competing in the 2024 Armed Forces Cup. Fox Sports and the Veteran Golfers Association thank you for watching this edition of the 2024 Armed Forces Cup from Champions Retreat.